The Russia-Ukraine war is turning more dangerous. Russia is pushing forward on the battlefield, squeezing Ukraine across a stretched and brutalized front. Yet the most important moves are perhaps not happening on the battlefield. European powers are moving back toward direct engagement with Russian President Vladimir Putin, a step that could be seen as legitimizing Moscow even as the war is still raging. We begin first with the battlefield developments. According to Ukrainian officials, Russia launched another wave of overnight attacks across Ukraine, killing civilians and striking critical infrastructure. In the southern port city of Odessa, Ukraine's emergency crews worked through rubble after a Russian strike killed one person and injured two others. The attack also damaged an energy facility in the region. Ukrainian energy workers said that the latest Russian strike on an undisclosed power grid was more powerful than earlier ones. Workers could be seen clearing rubble, dismantling damaged equipment following the alleged strike.
We can compare the attacks because the attacks repeatedly happened during my shift, both with missiles, drones, and combined. This attack was, one might say, a little more powerful. The charges were more powerful. We felt it.
Now, further east, Russian drones hit a town in the Zaporizhzhia region, injuring multiple civilians, including a one-year-old child. Overnight attacks killed at least 3 people, according to officials, with the eastern Kharkiv region also hit. These are the visuals on your screen from the eastern Ukrainian city of Sloviansk, where emergency workers can be seen working in the aftermath of a Russian strike that killed a mother and daughter. 7 more people are said to be injured in the attack on the industrial hub, which Russian forces are slowly advancing toward. Ukraine also confirmed the loss of a combat helicopter crew. An Mi-24 helicopter failed to return from a mission, killing all crew members on board. While Russia claimed an attack by Ukraine damaged the Zaporizhzhia plant, it did not lead to any safety threat, adding that one of the 2 external power lines supplying the nuclear power plant has been cut off at the moment. On the battlefield, fighting continues around Pokrovsk in eastern Ukraine. Russian forces are pressing toward the city, seeking to complete a months-long campaign to seize the strategic hub and tighten their grip on the Donetsk region. Pokrovsk, once home to about 60,000 people, sits on a key railway network and has become a central prize in Moscow's eastern offensive. Ukraine's military says its troops still hold parts of northern Pokrovsk and continue to defend the nearby city of Myrinohald. But officials acknowledge that Russian forces are advancing by exploiting gaps in the Ukrainian air defense, dropping guided bombs and using superior manpower to control surrounding heights and flanks. Open source analysts tracking the front lines report Russian infantry moving deeper into northern Pokrovsk and pushing toward nearby villages. If Pokrovsk fails, it would mark Russia's most significant battlefield gain since the capture of Avdiivka early last year. Now on to diplomacy, where the shift begins in Europe. The French President Emmanuel Macron has openly called for Europe to resume direct dialogue with the Russian President Vladimir Putin, words that signal a major shift from isolation to engagement. Macron says that Europe cannot remain on the sidelines and must develop a coordinated approach, warning against leaving negotiations entirely in American hands. Emmanuel Macron has argued that talks with Putin should be structured, limited in participants, and guided by a clear European mandate. Remember, last week, France sent its top diplomat to Moscow, signaling that engagement is no longer theoretical but underway. Kremlin had confirmed recent contact with Paris. In fact, the Kremlin spokesperson said that so far there has been no indication that Paris has a desire for dialogue at the highest level. However, he further stated that Macron's statements on the need to build relations with Russia was viewed positively. Kremlin also said that no date has been set for the next round of peace talks in the ongoing war. Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, meanwhile, has dismissed claims of rapid progress in the peace talks, warning against optimism and saying that negotiations remain far from complete.